All right, I think looks like we're getting liveness.
The house is exciting.
We need your sound effects. Biddy-diddy, biddy-biddy.
Wah, 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 wah.
All right, folks, I got the green light from Facebook that we are live. So, welcome to the special edition of the Ripple Effect on January 12th. Here, I'm here with my esteemed co host and our guest, Aaron Gobler. Erica, how are you doing today?
Hello, everyone. I'm great. I'm happy to be here with you all, and looking forward to our podcast today.
Great. Well, we have a guest I've been looking forward to bringing on because he's actually the one who got me interested in Rotary to begin with. Aaron Gobler, he's a web designer, a programmer, and a longtime member of Rotary and he's a member of the Albany chapter, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Aaron. And first, wanted to say, how are you today?
Good. Great. I'm doing very well, thank you, and thank you for this opportunity. I've been looking forward to it.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I am a newer Rotarian. I actually joined in March in the midst of the pandemic. I was sponsored by Corey Knott, who we all also know, and we're gonna. I'll let you tell us more about it, but I'm just really excited to kind of share your story about Rotary and all the insights that you have about Rotary because you really served to get me excited about it. And now I've joined, and I just feel like it's a life-changing experience in a lot of ways to get involved with the people who are in and around Rotary, the community of it, and all the good things that comes with Rotary. So with that, I did want to just ask you about your personal story and just a little bit about your story and your background before we get to the Rotary
Sure.
question.
Sure. So my story begins back when I was about 12, and I worked with my first computer, and I kind of fell in love with the computer, and that was in sixth grade, and I kind of never looked back. I've always wanted to be a programmer from that point forward. And I used to camp out at the local Radio Shack store and work on their TRS-80. My parents got used to not having me home for dinner. Um, and when I was 16, I was actually hired by somebody to do a software for a data entry system for John Wanamaker's department store, one of the first department store systems in the country. And then just we'll jump to when I was an adult. I've held many programming and database management jobs. And when I first saw the internet in 1994, the web, it really rocked my world because it's one thing to do programming with lots of numbers and letters and stuff, but when you actually can use visuals and actually interact with them on the screen and have your work put out as a website instead of some dry program with visuals and interaction, it was extremely exciting prospect. And so I kind of fell in love with the web. And along with my spouse, Dr. Lisa Kane, we officially launched PagePoint in 2001 after I was laid off from a job I had in San Francisco doing intranet work. And we went through a phase of growing from the two of us to about 8 employees, then back down to myself. And right now I primarily do WordPress website development. And my background is again in database programming. So I'm able to customize a lot of things for people because I know how the inner workings of the websites are. So that's kind of a real quick, bring you up to speed to where I am in those number of years.
Great. No, I know folks who have used you, and I continue to really admire your web work. If you're looking to just get up with the quick basic site or even a more fancy site with all the bells and whistles, Aaron is really the person to go to for that professional touch. You can basically handle any project that you need. I know he's also done a lot of work with Rotary, helping them with their web design and things. And Erica, made a good note there about we forgot to say what the show is, or clarify that this is the ripple effect, and that's where small changes can make a big impact. So I really see that in Aaron's story and Rotary in general, especially during this time of COVID. Um, Erica, did you have any comments on Aaron, testimonial for Aaron, or on his
Yeah.
story?
Yeah. I mean, yes, I so am excited that you are our interviewee today. And just as the standing president in our network called Abundant Referral Circle, you helped me step into that role with all these systems that you created that have really helped me get it together with my role with our meetings on Zoom, and just like everything has a system, and your mind is just amazing for how you've created these supports and links to go here, do that. This is what's happening here. So I really appreciate you, Aaron. And
Thank you.
I also am a Rotarian fan. I'm not a Rotary member or Rotarian, but I have been to a number of Rotary meetings, and I have given a talk at one of your chapters. And I look forward to more. I love how it's service focused and it's worldwide, and you all do great work. So that's the beautiful thing about these coming together, these pods of people during these times, especially. So thanks for being here. And yes, you are on the ripple effect. You're helping people click. That's a ripple effect, you know.
Perfect. Yeah, I would say that I really admire his tenure as the president of our chapter. You hit the nail right on the head with his processes, and whereas in other places in our government we see government by chaos, we actually see government by order. So really, order kind of starts in your mind and the processes. And I really, valued Aaron's leadership and his example that he set. So he's very and I think that's something you need in a website, but also a contractor to help bring order to your ideas and to fulfill your vision. So I think that's why you're, multi-talented. And as we'll see with the Rotary too, is another big piece of your story. I did. Erica sometimes gets bored with this question, but I actually think we it's hard to move forward without addressing it. The how you've been adapting to COVID, in your business, but also in your personal life, and including your role in Rotary.
Um, yeah, I think that's everybody is curious about how everybody else is dealing with this. So I already did most of my work from home. Of course, went to Rotary once a week, physically went to my BNI meeting, and I would meet with a couple clients, maybe in person each week. So most of my time was at my desk, at working out of my office at home. So there was really not a significant change there for me. So I didn't have to kind of reframe my mind. It just meant I was sitting on my butt more, and I had to get myself outside at least to walk around. And I had this thought that I would get a flood of new business because people were flocking to the internet because they couldn't do more brick and mortar face-to-face type transactions. But actually, it was a lot of existing clients I had that were building contractors who couldn't do anything for several weeks and had time now to take a breath because they were extremely busy, and then actually focus on improving their website. So that's really what I was doing at the beginning of COVID. And like both of you alluded to, during the BNI chapter, and also with my Rotary Club, helping in the transition to Zoom meetings was something I did. And then also Erica is very familiar with this, that I created a game show and I produced 6 episodes, and the contestants and audience raised money for food banks. And I'd like to bring that back in some kind of incarnation. So that was kind of that went for a few months, and I haven't done it in about 6 months, but I got to get back on that. Personally, my immediate family is all healthy, and I feel really blessed that we're taking all kinds of precautions, and we've all been doing well. So I think we're kind of blessed in that regard. I just feel very, very happy about that.
Yeah, true that. I do too. And David, your family is well and safe right now and taking precautions?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Great. So I was confused by your message to me, David. Is this where you want me to transition to talking about Rotary, or did you want to say anything else about what makes Aaron unique as a web designer? That would be a great next question.
Yeah, sure. No, that's good. I did want to get to his Rotary story, but I want to give you the opportunity to kind of finish the segment on
Sure.
his website, web design
Sure.
thing.
And before you start your answer of that question, Aaron, I have been really jonesing on this show that's been on Netflix called *Halt and Catch Fire*, and
Okay.
oh, I don't know why, but I really got into it, and it's maybe because I'm rolling forward with creating systems for how I communicate with people and offer my workshops and get my website up to speed, thanks to you, Aaron. So, I'd love for you to talk about what makes you unique as a web designer, if you don't mind answering that question, and anything you want to say about that.
Yeah, this is really a really subjective thing because I think in terms of web design, um, each web designer comes to the table with a whole different set of experiences and maybe different than some other kinds of professions. Um, and uh, so I'm trying to get a little bit mind fogged there. So I'll just give you kind of where I come from, and I don't know this. Is how this separates me necessarily from others, but I'll give you some background of my experience. So I've been working for about 33 years professionally, and about huge portion of that 24 years was based in internet technologies, and I having a programming background, I understand how the parts of a website work together, so I can quickly identify, points of failure where things are not working. Kind of like a mechanic would be able to open up a hood and kind of listen and say, "Oh, I know where that's coming from, the sound or whatever the rattle." I don't come from a background in professional design, but I build websites primarily that match the look and feel of what a client likes, or from a design by a graphic designer. And one thing that I believe sets me aside is that the client relationship, the establishment of trust at the very beginning is very important to me. And I want to set the client at ease at the very beginning so they can enjoy the process and not worry about being surprised or displeased. And I really enjoy explaining internet, web, and programming concepts to people. This often helps them better understand my approaches and my suggestions. In fact, um, I really love a client that wants to know what I did, as opposed to saying, just do it. Don't tell me what you did. I don't care. Just do it. I want them to like kind of have the fun with me of understanding like how I figured that out, or how I did that, or how I'm approaching something. I really enjoy that give and take with a client. So again, that's kind of some of the things that I feel make me stand out. I don't work with too many other web developers directly to know an incredible amount about their style. So I can't
Mhm.
really give a head-to-head comparison.
Can I say something that's just, what I notice and have learned about you, Aaron, is that you make it very accessible, and what I love smart people, and I love how your kind of smarts is very different from my kind of smarts, and so it's such a gift to get to dance with you, because I'm coming from such a different perspective, and but at the same time, you make it easy to become better, look better, and have our systems work for us. So it's such a gift. So thank you.
Thank you.
And for those people who appreciate that kind of blueprint, you can really get into it with Aaron. So now let's talk about your Rotary story.
Mhm.
Tell us your story about how you got involved, and we want to hear about that.
Sure. So I don't know, some of the viewers today may not know what Rotary is, or at least may know Rotary from that sign you see when you enter a town that says Rotary meets, on Tuesdays at so and so's restaurant or something. But it was started in 1905, and there are about 1.2 million Rotarians across 35,000 clubs around the world. And each club raises money and awareness for local, regional, and international projects that prompt peace, save lives, and improve life and health outcomes. So that's kind of a really broad thing. Um, and narrowing it down to me and to what it can mean to the individual members of Rotary is it gives you the opportunity to demonstrate your talents, your skills, your integrity, and your ability to follow up and do what you said you're going to do, and people around you who are generally like-minded in that way also recognize that and appreciate it. But in terms of a brief history, every Rotarian has their history of how they discovered Rotary or how they fell in love with Rotary or whatever. But when I first was starting my own business, I had one of my first clients invited me to his Rotary lunch meeting, and that was in 2002. And one of the reasons that I joined was because I had 2 young children. My wife was a professor at Cal, and so I was home alone doing the business work. And then when everybody came home, mostly it was paying attention to little children. So it was nice to actually have an hour with successful business people from the community and establishing friendships and business relationships with them. Made me feel like a grown up again. And I really felt strongly, I think I may have been from Think and Grow Rich or some other things that I had been reading at the time, about surrounding yourself with successful people, that the people you can only reach or surpass a certain point. You have to be around people who are successful if that's what you want to be. If you want to be in certain roles, you need to be around people who are in those roles. So I saw Rotary. I saw the I was in the Albany club. I saw that this smallish town, Albany. But in the club were the superintendent of the schools, owners of some of the major businesses in the town, representatives from the police, and some clubs have the fire chief is in the Rotary. So a lot of movers and shakers, and people who are really well established in the community. And I think that was really instrumental for me to just feel like I was integrating into the community and getting known. But in terms of how I melded what I did professionally with Rotary, was I helped the club with its first website in 2005, but I also worked along with the district, which was an organization of 64 other Rotary clubs in Northern California, and helped them create a system that then provided about 25 Rotary clubs with websites. And this is, we're talking in 2005. So this is quite a while ago. And so I was instrumental in working with the district to provide this. And that was paid work. I was hired by the district to do that. And then about 4 years after I joined Rotary, I started getting business from the Rotarians around me and through people who saw my work through the district level as well. So just as to wrap that up, my involvement in Rotary, including those higher echelons of the organization, gave me exposure to a lot of people who could see my organizational leadership skills, my attention to detail, and the dedication to community, and also my attention to personal and business ethics. So that was kind of a real showcase for me in those leadership and business roles within Rotary. That people actually saw how I operated and what my ethics were, and that translated to those people also wanting to do business with me because they felt that I was could be a good partner in their business.
Yeah, the solidity. You said it took 4 years, huh?
Well, that's an estimate. I feel like I wasn't pushing people to say, hey, hire me. But after they got to know me, and then the timing was right because something was changing in their business, or they made the decision to do a website or whatever, they would bring me in, often with very little reservation, just like, hey, let's do this. Let's work with me on this. I'm like, sure.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's anything, what else do you want to say about Rotary Club that would be important for viewers tuning in? If you're catching this, you're in the middle of the Ripple Effect podcast, and we have Aaron Gobler on of PagePoint Web Solutions, and we're jonesing on the Rotary Club. You have a great chapter here in Albany, and what else do you want to say about Rotary? If anyone's tuning in, do you invite them to come check your chapter out, or what would you like to?
Sure. Yeah. So I'd like to say that Rotary is first about service, or you could say service and fellowship, kind of go back and forth. And then third, fourth, somewhere is about networking and actually business. And certainly in some Rotary clubs, there's a lot more business transacted than others. In some clubs, there's more fellowship or more service. But ultimately, Rotary is really about service to the community. And so members really, I think it's best if they join a club in the mindset that they want to get involved with their community, and also in international projects and such. And that the idea of, say, networking and business is something that, like I said, 4 years, I mean, I think you have to think it in the long term if you're looking for the business part and income from being in Rotary. It really is first establishing the fellowship and having other members see you providing service or being on a service project. And that's really how I got to really come to really trust and admire other Rotarians, seeing how dedicated they were on certain projects and how organized they were and how dedicated, that kind of stuff, and talk really about them as a person. And that then naturally can translate into a business thing. And some people join Rotary without any idea of business in mind. It's really strictly about the fellowship. And I still feel like the business is something that flows as an added bonus, but is not my main focus at all with being in Rotary. I don't know, I kind of wandered off of, is that kind of?
Yeah, that's beautiful. And just for the person who might come visit your chapter,
right.
Through Zoom, Albany,
right.
Or any chapter, like David has in a different chapter, like I would definitely recommend visiting before you join the chapter. And see
certainly part of this is to be physically visiting a chapter. And since we're not doing that, this is an excellent time for people to visit virtually and get a feel. And you can and there are clubs just in our area that meet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They meet different days. So if a good day is bad for you, you could visit so many clubs in 1 week if you wanted to, from our local area or Oakland, or even going further out, San Jose. I mean, online, to get a feel, because each club has a different kind of feel, a different vibe. And so it's so easy now just to go and visit a club. And it's a little, I wouldn't say it's colder. It's certainly much more sterile, that you're not actually pressing the flesh or seeing the body language of people or getting the ambiance of the space you're meeting in or anything. But it is an excellent opportunity really to just check it out. There's no commitment. Even when people show up in person, there's no heavy-handed sales kind of thing or commitment thing. It's like, welcome to our club, and we'll recognize you at the club, and we'll ask you to say a few things about yourself. But yeah, I think this is a perfect opportunity for people to understand what Rotary is and check out a few clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, I feel like a lot of what Erica does, she's almost similar to her own Rotary club in some ways around health. So she has a lot of those Rotary values, and that's why it really kind of shines on the ripple effect too. So she's also very creative too, and I think we need both like the process, but also the creative aspect of Rotary. And I think I try to bring both, that I see how the governance of Rotary and what they do, but you also want to continue to innovate in what we do, especially during this COVID time, which is, I did want to ask you about what some of the challenges have been during COVID. And I've seen this in my own club, and how we can overcome those, or kind of regroup to overcome those challenges during COVID in terms of Rotary.
Yeah, I think this poses a real challenge right now, because whereas like BNI, it's a networking organization and it's very strictly business related, it can do most of its work over Zoom, meeting with people over Zoom. Rotary, a lot of it is hands-on or face-to-face fellowship and such. So a lot of clubs have had like happy hour kinds of things where they, we're one meeting a week, is just breakout rooms on Zoom. So there's this fellowship and people can chat directly with each other. But it does pose a challenge in terms of fundraising because a lot of Rotary clubs did pancake breakfasts or crab feeds or bocce tournaments, and these things are much curtailed right now. So there's a lot more virtual type competitions and sweepstakes and other kinds of things to raise money. And again, every club is different. I think, David, you can speak to what the Oakland Rotary is doing to raise money is very different than what the Chico Rotary or the Reading West Rotary is doing. And part of the in people's minds certainly is that this is going to be over or different or changing at some point. So it's not like this is a huge long-term thing. So people are kind of a little bit holding their breath or kind of just in a frozen state right now, trying to figure out what's gonna be next.
Thank you. And I really see a huge influence of Rotary, and something I love about this show too is that really it's kind of an inspiring hope, and the story of like the Good Samaritan, of the somebody who goes by and doesn't help versus somebody who sees somebody who's struggling who does help. And we actually need more people out there who do help somebody who's struggling. And I think that's what the people I see in Rotary are really leaders for that kind of mindset about service above self. And I think that is something so powerful during this time and the downturn. And it's just, how do we harness that and still do things actually on the ground in those service committees, given some of the dangers with COVID. I know homelessness is a big priority of our club. Even during COVID-19, our president has been, really walking the talk, as I like to say, that we learned from, BNI about, raising the money. We have record fundraising, and then to get involved in the community. And there's so many different committees and ways, if say you're a new member joining Rotary, you can actually start your own program and get people enrolled. And then, if you see a program, I'm very interested, for example, in mentoring young people to, succeed in life in terms of entrepreneurial skills. And, Erica, for example, is interested in helps with health, people being healthy. So there's like any number of ways that if you get plugged into a network of all people with the same goals and vision, there's really no limit to what you can accomplish in terms of, with long-term.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, David. And when I was membership chair for several years in my club, that's something that I did mention to people. If you have a cause or something that's very important to you, I'll use the word cause, that you can bring that to the board and ask to speak to the Rotary board, and then we can decide along with the club to commit some money or effort or whatever into that. And it's not like you've got to be in Rotary years and years for that. You could join Rotary and the next week or month be talking to the board of your club and saying, I'd like to work on this project. I think we should start this project. So it really does have all that. It does have that potential to magnify your passions to help the world. There's no question.
That's so exciting. And, I'd love to bring this over to our BNI chapter, this kind of, how are we serving? I think that's a great way to come together. And, like our esteemed colleague from our BNI chapter said to me, what do you want your legacy to be in our chapter? And I was like, well, what if we were to give in some way? So this is great food for thought. I always want to bring a tower farm somewhere. So, like I'm like, where give me that, whatever that is. Yeah. I want to make it happen. And gosh, with the homeless that are happening right now, my goodness, it'd be great to feed a whole bunch of hungry people. So I digress.
No, but I think, Erica, what you're doing and what you spoke to at our Rotary Club and your efforts with nonprofit organizations and such, I mean, it's directly in line with programs that Rotary tries to, bring potable water, food, better health outcomes, all that directly in line with that.
Yeah, it'd be great to bring the person that is one of these nonprofits I serve. It'd be great to bring her on and
Mhm.
have you all meet her and support her
Yeah.
nonprofit. So
Yeah.
something to percolate about and make happen. Yeah.
Agree.
Great. Yeah, well, I guess we're just about at time here. I don't know, Erica, if you had any closing thoughts, or I know before we let Aaron go and thank him for his great insights.
Oh, I just want to say, Aaron is so wonderfully available to rap with you, and your technical challenges with whatever is going on with your organization or your nonprofit, on that website level. Oh my goodness! And then for all these other ways that we serve and support our community, Aaron is a great person to talk to strategize about maybe his Rotary Club to come check out, or so yes, Aaron Gobler, thanks for coming.
Thank
And
you. It's my pleasure.
great time to talk with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a
thank
lot
you.
of fun. Yeah.
And if you do want to go visit Aaron's Rotary, reach out to him. You're welcome to come visit Oakland Rotary number 3. And there's another number of other clubs in the area to just reach out and come check it out. We're on Zoom, so just for 1 hour you can really see what it's all about, and really start to get excited about meeting some great people and doing some great work. So with that,
Yeah, and we'll put all the links in the chat, and Aaron, you'll put in the chat when your game show gets back going, the game show fundraiser. That would be great to put here in the
Okay.
chat
Mhm.
for people to tune in. It's really a lot of fun. I got to be a contestant.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was pretty cool.
great to hear you guys. Well,
Right.
David and Erica signing off for the
Yeah.
Ripple Effect here on January 12th. Thanks, Aaron, for everything, and we'll
My
see
pleasure. Thank
everybody
you.
next week.
Okay.
Happy
Take care. Be well.
Bye.